stick around. You're there as our mentor, our friend. We're not going to say goodbye. We're just going to say goodbye for a short term. But as a thank you to Chuck and to Georgia, on behalf of the entire board, we'd like to present them with a one-week Caribbean cruise and a little bit of airfare down there as well. So, again, on behalf of the board. All right. Wow.
Chuck, you want maybe come up here and stand next to you?
Or give you a glass of wine?
I don't know where to begin other than the fact that if I was on the board at the time when I was younger and I looked like I was a porn star, shit canned that guy right away. I had some outrageous looking sports jackets. I can't believe it. Yeah, there you go. I also shaved it off many years back. But when Ryan called and said maybe I might want to get up and say a few words at the membership luncheon, it was like, where do I begin? And where does it end? And I guess since we lovely video presentation, I won't have to say much. But I remember very well when I first joined NAC, and I was there I was going to be hired to assist Lou Abramson as executive director. At that time, they had a board meeting in Chicago during the restaurant show. And this was in like May of 1973. And I was to be introduced to the board of directors. I was wet behind the ears and was introduced, you know, as the individual that might be assisting Lou Abramson. And I'm standing before a U-shaped table like even what we have today, and there's 35 gentlemen, and I think there may have been one woman on the board at the time. And told a little bit about myself. And they just wanted to have a chance to see what I looked like. They asked me some questions, et cetera, et cetera. I'd already gone through a search committee. At that time, one was Harold Chesler, who was the first president I served with, and then I was nice enough that I served with Norm Chesler, and then Leslie Chesler. So I figured that was 3 generations. I figured once I got to the 4th one, man, I got to get out. You know, it's too much of the Cheslers, even though I love Norm dearly. So after I get done talking a little bit about myself and looking at the end of the U-shaped table, there's a gentleman had his head peered out. This gravelly, rough, boisterous voice making a comment. Now, son, when Lou Abramson leaves as executive director of NAC, if you don't get the position of executive director, how are you going to take that? And all I could reply was, if I'm not the person to be chosen, then I can certainly understand. But you got to remember, I was just there to assist Lou Abramson. I wasn't there to replace him at the time. So I walked out of the meeting, and Lou Abramson runs out and grabs me and says, you have to excuse this guy. Well, Bert Nathan, who I found out who this gentleman was, is really what I consider the grandfather of NAC. He says, that's just how Bert is. You're going to have to learn to live with it if you're going to work here, et cetera, et cetera. And needless to say, Bert was more or less kind of a mentor to me, as so many other individuals within the association. September came. I can remember it was September 17th to the 20th. It was the San Francisco Hilton, and the National Convention of Trade Show was to take place. I was left back in Chicago, which was fine. I was expecting to attend. I got a call one night from Lou Abramson, said, Chuck, you need to come out here. We want you to attend the board meeting and have a chance to meet as many people as you can at the convention and trade show. I thought, okay, well, fine, you know, coming out there and whatever. Lou Abramson announced his retirement. And I'm trying to recall all the different board members that were there. I think you'll appreciate the fact on the board at that particular time was Ron Kruger, Ron's dad. Of course, Bert Nathan, Frank Liberto, who before Nachos, who became what I consider the father of Nachos, and who was on the board for many, many years. Shelley Feldman, who became president, who had been our director of education up until the time he retired, and Shelley also eventually became president. The president-to-be at that time was Al Lapidus. Many of you don't know Al Lapidus, but the golf tournament that is held at now CinemaCon that had been at Show West is in memory of Al, who also served as president of NAC, and also was the gentleman that was instrumental on the West Coast of getting us involved with Show West. And you had to love Al. He always, you know, whatever he called, he always called me kid. I was 26 at the time, you know, but wonderful, wonderful gentleman. Also serving on the board was the individual that was honored today, receiving the Nicky Warner Award, and that being J.C. Evans. And if you stop and think about it, Ron is leaving as president, and the new president coming in, John the Sheriff Evans, his dad was on board. Also serving on the board at that particular time and was the membership services director was a gentleman called Henry Creters. Henry Creters was Charlie's brother and the nephew of Henry is Andrew Creters, our treasurer. Someone asked me, well, how's this, you know, the organization, there's no young blood coming in, et cetera, and I can tell you, yeah, there is. This organization has meant certainly a lot to me over the years. I've worked with 19 presidents. Ron, needless to say, was one of the better presidents that we've had. Maria Engels was another wonderful, our first president, the first lady president, and I remember Maria when she came to her first convention meeting with United Artists. And you've got Larry Etter here, another president. Skip, are you here? Skip Seventh, and any other presidents I'm missing around? That these people have been active for many, many years, and they've made this association really what it is. I look at Coke, I look at Nestle, I look at Hershey, I look at all the different companies. Those companies were basically active back that many years ago, and they've continued to be active, to be sponsors, serve on the board of directors. It's kind of neat to see that the new president of NAC, John, is with Popcorn Equipment Company, and his chief competitor is Andrew Creters, who is a treasurer, both serving on the executive committee, both committed to what this industry is all about. You have Coke and you have Pepsi, who have served on the board at the same time, meeting together. They're competitors, but they're doing everything they can for this particular industry. It's always been like that, and it's been an honor to have been your executive director for the last 38 years. And I always believed in being surrounded by competent staff for a number of reasons. One, it makes me look a hell of a lot better. And two, it makes the organization go. And the few people here that I think you all know, but at least I think they deserve the recognition because I've worked with them the last number of years. The first person I've known for well over 25 years was very much involved with Show West. And she loves us. I think she loves us, loves the organization. She always comes and works for us whenever we have our conventions, and that's Laura Rooney. Laura, why don't you stand?
Laura is so dedicated that she went back to the first.
She's working.
She's working. Barbara Aslan, who has, I call these my February women for a reason, and you'll find out in a minute. Barbara came on board 7.5 years ago. She was an excellent addition to the staff, a very diligent, hard worker. I'm so proud to have had the opportunity to be working with Barbara. And Barbara, if you could stand, please. The other young lady who was hired in February and who has been here 17.5 years, I think maybe sometimes I've been a little bit rough on her, and I will continue to be rough on her after seeing the video. But no, in all seriousness, I knew the minute when I hired her that she was going to be an excellent addition to the association, and that's Susan Cross, our Director of Communications. So Susan,
I'm taping you.
Now, back in February 1969, it was a very popular day called Valentine's Day. And I was in college. I don't want to tell you the whole, well, I'll tell you the story.
Tell us.
It was a computer dance, okay? And you were, that's the time when the computers were about as big as an office, you know? And I had a roommate who happened to be a freshman, very shy, whatever, and we worked it out that we would go to this computer dance, and you had to fill out all this information, your likes, your dislikes, and all this whatever. And you would be matched up at that time. And so I went over to the dormitory where I was supposed to meet my particular date that night. Well, as it might be, a lot of people chickened out, didn't show up, and needless to say, my date didn't. Probably already heard what I was about. And one of the guys that I knew from the fraternity that was organizing it, I went and talked to him. I said, okay, listen, my date didn't show up, and there's a lot of ladies in there. What happens? You're just going to kind of team people up and not tell them the difference? He says, yep. I said, okay, do me a favor as a friend. Can I have first opportunity of walking into that room, checking out all the young ladies that are there, and telling you who I want for that night? That night turned out to be my current wife, who I've been married to over 40-some years. So, Georgia, you're behind me all these years, and would you stand? And the surprise also came today is that I had 2 legitimate sons.
I don't know. I don't think.
One of my legitimate sons, Sean, is here. He lives in Burbank. He's an aspiring, well, he's got a movie script there. He's looking for funding. It's great fun. You know anybody, let me know. And I'm sure he could really go a long ways, but he's my youngest son, Sean. John, will you stand for everybody? My other legitimate son, who was in Chicago for a while, getting his visa because he works in Barcelona as a consultant, and just left a couple of days to go back. He's not with us, but he's a real good guy, just like Sean is. But what NAC is, it's people. That's what it is. You come here, you meet, you network, you love people, you like people, you enjoy people. That's what the association is all about, and it will always be. And I will think about this association when I retire. It's been a great ride. I appreciate your support, and I thank you.